This video is one of a series covering the released Ohio State math questions between 2017 and 2023. Welcome to Dr. Tarazi's math site. Expressions and equations make up 17% of the test questions, 7 to 9 questions out of an average of 48 questions. Use properties of operations to generate equivalent expressions. Standard 7.EE.3. This a fundamental standard. 2 to 3 questions on the test. Please pause the video and read the description of this standard.
Hello and welcome. Here is what you need to know before we get to the examples. First I think you need to really review adding and subtracting rational numbers, also multiplying and dividing rational numbers. Very important to master these two topics so that you will be good in solving linear equations and also inequalities.
Distributive property.
I'm going to remind you with this property again because it's very important, heavily used. So when you want to remove the parentheses from this equation here, from this expression, you want to remove the parentheses, you have to use distributive property. It goes like this. 2 times 3x is 6x. 2 times 5 is 10. Some students put 5 here, they forget to multiply 2. 2 has to be multiplied by this and by this, okay? This similar example, but here I put a negative here because I want you to realize or remember this is positive. So 2 times 3x, that's 6x. Now, positive times negative is negative, minus 10. Here, I put negative here. Negative times positive is negative, negative 6x. Negative times negative is positive, plus 10. When you don't have something here, that means you have a 1, okay? When here it means you have a 1, okay? So that's 7x plus 14. If the number happens to be outside on this side of the parentheses, you can move it to the other side, or you can do like this. Very similar way. Very rare that you will see something like that, more than two terms here, but the method is the same. 2 times this, 2 times this, 2 times this, and pay attention to the signs, okay?
Transforming an equation into simpler forms.
Now, to solve a linear equations, we need to first transform it to a simple form, okay, to a simple form. So, how do we do that? Simplify each side of the equation. First, we simplify each side of the equation. Use distributive property if needed and combine like terms. That's the only thing you can do at this stage. Now you have all these tools available to you. You can add the same term to both sides of the equation. You can subtract the same term from both sides of the equation. You can multiply both sides of the equation by the same number, and you can divide both sides of the equation by the same number. Remember, what you do on the left-hand side, you do the same on the right-hand side. What you do on the left side of the equation, you do the same on the right side of the equation.
How to solve a linear equation in one variable.
Okay, first of all, you simplify each side, as we just mentioned. Then you do a successively transform the equation into simpler forms until you isolate. The whole idea is you have to isolate the variable on one side and the constant on the other side. That's the whole idea, okay? You can add terms to both sides, subtract terms, multiply, etc., until you get the variable on one side and the constant on the other side. So in the end, you will get variable is equal to constant. That's the solution. Sometimes it's in this side. If the variable is on the right-hand side, that's fine. Constant is equal to variable. So in the end, you get x is equal to a is the solution. For instance, if I have this equation to solve, so I notice here now we need to simplify each side. This one here, we have combination. We have to combine these two terms. Here we have to do distributive property. Doing this, you get 7x minus 5 is equal to 40 minus 2x. Now we need to have the variable on one side and the constant on the other side. So I can get rid of this from here by adding 2x. So when you add 2x here, you add 2x here. Okay? So now you get 9x minus 5 is equal to 40. Now you need to get rid of this minus 5. So you add 5 here and 5 here. So add 5 and add 5. So you get 9x is equal to 45. Now 9x means 9 times x. Division, the opposite of the division is, that's multiplication. The opposite of the multiplication is division, so you have to divide by 9. So you get x is equal to 5. Another equation, similar to the first one. Now we have parentheses here, we need the distributive property, and we have to combine these two terms on the right-hand side. Okay, so you get minus 36 plus 2x equals to 7x minus 9. Now, you can move this from here, or you can move this from here. So here I'm going to subtract 2x from both sides, So this is gone. So you have negative 36 is equal to 5x minus 9. 7x minus 2x is 5x. Now, you have to get rid of this minus 9. You add 9 to both sides. Now, negative 36 plus 9, that's one is negative, one is positive. They have to be subtracted. 36 minus 9 is 27. But now what is the sign? The sign is that the one was the largest in absolute value. So the sign would be negative. So negative 27 is equal to 5x. Now you divide both sides by 5. So you get negative 5.4 is equal to x. Typically we put x on the left hand side, so x is equal to negative 5.4. Now if the first steps are the same. If I want to remove the 7x from here, so I'm going to subtract 7x from both sides. Okay, so you get negative 7x plus 2x. One is negative, one is positive. You subtract, and the sign is that of this one here, because that's larger in absolute value. So you get this. Now you are going to add 36. Why? Because I want to get rid of 36. I want to isolate the variable. So negative 5x is equal to 27. Now you divide both sides by negative 5, not by 27, by negative 5. So 27 happens to be positive, and positive divided by negative is negative. X is equal to negative 5.4.
Recommendation.
To make the most of these videos, I suggest pausing the video when you see this button, solving the problem, and then resuming the video to check your answer.
Example 1.
In this example, Jeremy places an order for 200 headsets from a supplier for his store. The cost of each headset is $44.50. Now, this is important information. This is an important piece of information. Now, Jeremy pays 25% of the total amount at the time of placing the order. That's more like a down payment, 25%. He needs to pay the remaining amount at the time of delivery. So what amount does Jeremy need to pay at the time of delivery? So first of all, let's see what's the total cost. Total cost is 200 times 44.50. That's $8,900. Now, Jeremy paid 25%. Remember, 25% means 0.25, okay? So first payment, 0.25 times 8,900, that gives you 2,225. So he owes 8,900. He already paid this, so the difference is the balance, how much he's going to pay at the time of delivery. You can do it in a different way. You can say the total cost is the same as we did earlier, and now since he paid 25%, then he's has to pay at the delivery 75%. So last payment, 0.75 times 8,900, it gives you obviously the same answer.
Example 2.
A company collects data on its employees. It finds that 20% of employees in each department are part-time, 20% part-time, 80% full-time. Each of the company's four departments has 45 employees. How many part-time and full-time employees does the company have? Okay, so what's the total number of employees? Is 45 times 4, right? Because 4 departments, each has 45 employees, 180. 20% of the 180 are part-time, so 0.20 times 180, that's 36. Full-time is 80%, 0.80 times 180 is 144. This can be also obtained by subtracting 180 minus 36. So you get your answer is 36 and 144.
Example 3.
Chris wrote an equation and the first step of his solution process as shown. So he started with 16 equals 12 minus 6x, and then he got to 4 is equal to minus 6x. Which math operation did Chris apply in his first step? So you have several options. He's obviously, if you look at here, 12 disappeared, which means he subtracted the 12 from both sides. So clearly he subtracted 12 from each side. Very simple. A question like that, guaranteed. Don't lose a question like that.
Example 4.
The distance of one lap around a school track is 1/4 of a mile. Sherry walks 5 laps around the track. How many more laps must Sherry walk to reach a total distance of 3.5 miles? So that's her goal, is 3.5 miles. So she did 5 laps already, and each lap is 1/4 of a mile. So we have to understand all these numbers. So 1 lap is 1/4 of a mile. We agree on that, right? So she wants to make 3.5 miles. So how many laps? That's 3.5 divided by 1/4. When you're dividing this, that means 3.5 times 4/1. Okay, you flip this, and this change into multiplication. So she needs to do 14 laps. She already did 5. So the left is 9 laps she needs to do. This also can be done in
Example 4.
It can be done in a different way. So I'm going to say, okay, first of all, 1/4 is 0.25. 1/4 is 0.25. Remember that 1/2 is 0.50. 3/4 is 0.75. So 1/4 is 0.25. So 1 lap is 0.25 miles. That's given. So she did 5 laps. 5 times 0.25 is 1.25 miles. Okay. Now, miles left, she needs to do 3.5. So the difference is 2.25 miles. So she still needs to do 2.25 miles. Divided by each track, each lap is 0.25. So you divide 2.25 divided by 0.25, you get 9 laps. Maybe the previous way was easier, but some student might do it this way, which is okay.
Example 5.
Michael has $370.89 in his bank account. He uses the money in his account to purchase new clothes for $48.73, lunch for $10.13, and bike tire for $32.46. How much money does Michael have spent in his bank account after making the purchase? This is a really simple question. Again, you shouldn't miss a question like that. So you total how much you spend and subtract it from how much you have. You started with, you get the leftover, what is left over. So total amount spent, adding these 3 amounts, I get $91.32. Amount left, you subtract from the original amount. This is the original amount. These are the amounts spent. Okay. And you get 226.57.
Example 6.
Two options for renting video games from a store are given. Without membership, $2.49 per game. With membership, unlimited rentals for $20.95 per month. This kind of situation, you can face it in real life situation, so it's good to know how to do that. Caleb plans to rent 2 games a week for a year. Make sure, underline, 2 games a week for 1 year. He asks you for your recommendation. First, calculate the cost of each option. Be sure to show your work. Then justify whether Caleb should get a membership or not. Type your answer in the space provided. Okay, so let's see what happens. Option 1, without membership. Without membership. Without membership is $2.49 a game. 2 games per week, 52 weeks a year, you get this cost. That's how much he would pay if he does the without membership. Now, with membership, it's $20.95 per month. So per year, you times it by 12, you get $251.40. So which one is better, this one or this one? This one is cheaper. He should get a membership. With a membership, he pays less. It costs him less at the end of the year.
Thank you, and see you soon.
Thank you for watching. If you would like to have a copy of the PowerPoint presentation, please leave your email address in the comments section, and we will be happy to email you a copy. Thank you for watching. More videos to come. Please subscribe.